Welcome to Civic Engagement Media. I'm Patrick Gilbert. Joining me today in the studio is Mr. Tomas Williams. He is a student here at Lone Star College Tomball, an athlete, and a people person. We're going to discuss all of those characteristics and more during this podcast. Tomas, thank you for being here today.
Thank you for having me.
This podcast is a long time in the making, isn't it?
Yeah, you said people person. I don't know about all that with the people person.
Oh, there's no doubts in my mind about that. So let's start from the top. What brings you here to Lone Star College Tomball?
Well, Lone Star, no one really has a real thought about Lone Star because you always want to go to those big colleges like LSU, Florida State, Colorado, but really the best route right now is community college, especially Lone Star because there's so much help around here. And the people are great. Like, I met you last year, so look at us now. Huh?
That's true. So would you say that your time has been good here?
Most definitely.
So what's the best thing?
The best thing, probably the people. I'd say that. The grades are grades, but if you don't have people helping you out or people just encouraging you at all given times like Lone Star College does, then it's going to be tough with those grades.
So what extracurricular activities are you in?
Well, I'm part of the Eco Club here at Lone Star. I actually just joined not too long ago. It's really, really, really inspiring because the stuff that they do should be taught in every single college campuses. And plus, we're all going green, and it's very good for the community. I'm actually in basketball as well. Uh, that's something else. I can go off for 30 minutes, an hour talking about basketball. And I'm with SSI and Student Life.
Do you encourage other students to get involved, or is it just something that you wanted to do?
Well, some students, I understand that they want to do their own thing and they want to be by themselves, but I really do encourage going out there and joining these clubs and just being out there. Meet a lot of good people, a lot of good friends, and it's real, a lot of fun.
Okay. I want to turn to community colleges and stigmas associated with them. So Steve Robinson, he is president of Owens Community College up there in Ohio. And he has, over the past couple of weeks, gone after the stigma that community colleges endure, such as it being the 13th year of high school or last chance college. And he's decided to punch back against this stigma. So what he did is he went into his office one day and he made a sign. And he has the hashtag End the Stigma. And of course, you can follow his Twitter at OCC President. How do you feel about community colleges now that you're here? And before you came here, how did you feel?
Well, before I came here, high school, senior year, just got out. You know what every high schoolers thinking about, just going out there, partying, everything, going to a big college and just living life. But that's, for me, it's very tough to go to a big college because money-wise, I live in a family of 8. And so the first decision was really join the Marines. And so I signed up. I did my tests, but then just a part of me told me not to go to school first and do something, at least try something out. And so my brothers before me, they all went to Lone Star, Tomball and Montgomery to just try it out. And so I was like, I'll give it a chance. Went there, haven't turned back. It was a really, really, really eye-opening experience. It's just it's really hard to explain because my stigma before it was just like it's a community college, you're just there for your money, but no, they're actually there to just watch you succeed, and I really appreciate what Lone Star in general has done for my life.
We appreciate you giving us a chance here at Lone Star College Tomball. Do you have any advice for future students who may come here and enroll as far as classes, what to expect, or anything?
For classes and what to expect, well, it's like every other school. Like it's very how do I put this? It's just whether you want to do something with your life or not.
Yes, I have noticed, and speaking with my own students, that many of them face a significant amount of personal challenges in their lives. So what hurdles have you had to overcome in your life, and how did you do so?
Really, everybody overcomes personal challenges. I mean, we're all human. There's no doubt. Like for me, you know how I go to your I go to your office and talk about my personal challenges all the time, and you help me through. And that's one thing to do. You go out and talk to people, and they'll help you through with anything they need. And there's no doubt about it. Everybody has their flaws and everybody has their problems, but it's just putting yourself out there and asking for help and being willing to receive help from other people.
Okay, well, that's good advice for um, current and future students. I want to talk now about civic engagement since this is civic engagement media.
Yes.
As you know, we had an election the other day. I'm not going to ask whether or not you voted or not. That's I guess that's irrelevant. But I did see that turnout is estimated to be below 20% in the state of Texas. And of course, you know how I am in turnout,
Yes, yes,
but
I do.
but I guess we don't have to go there. But why do you believe turnout is so low? Not just in Texas, but generally speaking.
It's because people don't really believe in politics at this day and age. To be honest with you,
Why not?
why not? It's just they always have. It's like a stigma with exactly like a stigma in politics. They always believe that it's already chosen or their voice is not going to be heard and all that. And so I don't blame them because at one point I was like that. I don't. There's no point of me putting myself out there, but really it's you who has the opportunity to decide what you want and what's going to happen into this community.
Okay. Have we gone to an extreme of one direction or the other in terms of politics and how we practice politics?
Oh, for sure, for sure. Uh, Seems like it's going more to the left than to the right when it comes to just the presidency in general, because you have more and more people more informed and more offended. How do I put this? More like I don't know how to put it really.
Well, President Obama had something to say about that.
Damn
So
right he does.
I wanna read something that he said. He had a message for the politically woke crowd that had become prolific on social media.
Whoa, crowd. That's it. That's the one.
Well, his three words were to get over it. And what was happening was he was calling out progressives for being too ideologically rigid and judgmental. So he said, quote, this idea of purity, and you're never compromised, and you're always politically woke, and all that stuff, you should get over that quickly. The world is messy. There are ambiguities. People who do really good stuff have flaws. People who you are fighting may love their kids and share certain things with you. Your thoughts?
Well, President Obama, by the way, I can't stop reading his speeches and his interviews. I can't stop watching that. And he was on the new show with I forgot his name. He was on this one show on Netflix that I encourage you to watch. It's really good. Where he's really what I believe he's really saying is that everybody needs to have a different opinion in my states because everybody's always just trying to agree with the other person. So like with many cultural differences in America and with many different views about life, everybody wants to have the same exact view just to not make the other person mad.
So, how do we get to this point in the first place where you can't, well, not you, but one cannot sit down and have a conversation with somebody else without being disagreeable?
Really, I wish I could tell you. I really wish I could tell you, but it's just I believe it's more to do than anything else. Because, like I said, at one point, uh, when we were having change in literally the start of the 1960s, how very different it was back then and from it is now. I believe that the humans today and our society today believes change can happen overnight, and it really does not. It does not.
Are we forgiving as a society?
Yes and no. I mean, it really determines on what occurs at the situation. Just like forgiving, let's say, uh, forgiving someone taking one side or the other. I mean, like if I have an opinion over something and then it doesn't agree with the majority, everybody has to everybody at one point, some people are just gonna just shoot me out, and I believe that's how our society is coming together. But then again, forgiveness and other problems, just like as in just being really Democratic or Republican, it's more than just that now. I believe.
Well, I consider you to be a people person, although you may not think so. You disagree?
uh, I I have no say in it really because you're the one who sees me and how I am. So
Well, I'm not dictating. Okay. So, since you are one who's in tune with society, since you are a people person, whether you realize it or not, I have noticed that in you. What problems do you see in society? I know you're taking a class on sociology, so I know you've kind of talked about society in there, but what problems do you see in society?
problems, everybody trying to have the same opinion over something. I believe. Uh, just like the other day, we were in sociology class. We were having a very very thoughtful debate over our gay community, and believe it or not, it almost ended up into a fight because
Wow.
it was just there's two sides to it, and at the end, it really seemed like everybody was going to one side, and then they're leaving one person out. And then me being me, I always want to take the side that's losing to see if I can win. And so now we're in a little civil war over there in our sociology class.
So things are not the same in sociology anymore.
I mean, no, I don't think it's gonna be the same for a while. But really, it's really just like that. Um, everybody just wants to please everybody. But in order to have a well-binded community and a well-binded society, we all got to question society. We all got to be able to question each other and be able to talk and discuss and have debates over what's the problem and everything.
Are there any other issues besides LGBTQ that y'all discussed in sociology that
Oh,
have been hot
gun
topics?
control.
Gun control.
Gun control, the president, a lot more. I wish we can go on talking about this. Obviously, the gay community, civil rights, racism, the border. We're in Texas. I mean, like, we're in Texas. We're facing all those situations just in each and everyone's community in Texas. And so it's like you can't pass it. You can't pass it here. And so
So, what do you believe race relations are here in the United States or in Texas or in Tomball?
in Tomball, I'm actually not a resident in Tomball. I actually live in Magnolia, which is north of Tomball.
Mhm.
And really, in general, with the race wars and all that stuff, it's the same thing to do with literally all of our problems in America. I wouldn't say problems, all of our flaws in America. Everybody believes that we can just disappear from something that was so vague and so abruptly crazy in our society, but I feel like it's better for us to be reminded every single day of how our society was as a whole in that situation. Like when it comes to racism, how do I put this? I gotta think about this question a lot.
It's okay.
I gotta think because I'm trying to put it in a smart way.
Whichever way you want to put it.
Well, racism as a whole can never be forgotten in America. It's a part of our history. It's most definitely part of our history. And so when people in today's society, when people try hiding it, or there's people very, very into it, or people that are trying to hide it, they got to understand that it's never going to go away. It's always going to be a problem in our society.
I was listening to Houston Public Media this morning,
Of course, you are.
and there was there's someone at the hobby school that wrote a book on Black Lives Matter and how that is being received. And since Black Lives Matter first came about, there's been seems to be a lot of a misunderstanding of what it is. So what does it mean to you when someone says Black Lives Matter?
What it means to me is that uh, all the racial tension that's been going on throughout the years, especially throughout this decade, there's been a lot of school shootings, a lot of shootings, police shootings, just a lot of just hatred thrown out and thrown both ways. What I see Black Lives Matter, I don't see it as a group. I see it more as a movement. as in that you're not the only, like, the people in America that need to understand that whites and Hispanics and blacks, there's all different races, and then each of them matters. It's not just one race that matters in this situation. It's all of us matters, and all of us are humans. We all have the same heart. We all have the same eyes, and we're all built the same. And so what they want to encourage is that not only do all these other races matter, but my race matters and your race matters.
So what about those who say get over it? That racism is a conversation that was in the 1960s and it's time to move on. What do you say to them?
What I say to them, I can say a lot of things to them, but really, that's just someone else's opinion.
So it's not time to move on?
It's never time to move on over something
Should
so
we get
big.
over it?
It's not getting over it. It's more of being able to hold that conversation, be able to talk about it. It's not. It is getting over it, but then again, it's never going to be forgotten.
In August of this year, there was a project, if you will, in the New York Times titled the 1619 Project. And what it did was highlight the fact that it had been 400 years since the first slaves were brought here to the United States. What are your thoughts about that? Because there were a variety of people, including former Speaker of the House Newt Gingrich, who felt that maybe that should not have been in there in the first place, and maybe we shouldn't keep bringing this up. And then there are people now who have engaged in revision history, saying that slavery wasn't all that bad.
Slavery wasn't all that bad. Dang, I don't know. I don't know what articles you're reading saying slavery was not that bad.
I was at a conference and someone got up at a section and they said that slaves were treated very well.
Well, I got no say for that. I mean, but in terms of, you said August 16th project, correct?
1619 Project.
1619 project. Excuse me. I feel like it was smart of them to record and to remember what day it was that the first slave was brought here, because that was a marking, that was a huge change in our society, in our culture, in American history. And then now look at us today. It's like reminding people about what they had to go through back in the day, like all the stuff I had to go through in my life, and then being able to come back like I'm here now. I'm here, and now look at me now. That's how America was built. We were all built on different little boards. We put us all together, and now we're this huge pyramid, or what can I say, Statue of Liberty. It's just every single piece is a new story, and so there's no problem with remembering, but the problem is forgetting.
Okay. I want to read you some statistics, and I'm sure you've heard these from me before, but I want to get your reaction to them. 48% of Texans and 56% of those in the United States as a whole trust most or all of the individuals in their neighborhood. And another statistic is 38% of Texans and 41% of those here in the United States actually talk to their neighbors. So my question is, do we understand one another?
I talk to my neighbors all the time. I always come out. I always greet them. If I see them walking, I say, "What's up?" Uh, if say we have a, what was the question again? You said,
Do we understand one
do we
another?
understand one another? No, I don't believe we do. I believe we do not, actually, because it's more of everybody's in their little social little house. I put it. Everybody's all in their little fences, their backyards, their windows, their doors. Everything's all closed. When was the last time you heard someone asking for a cup of sugar to another neighbor, huh?
I haven't had that.
And so I feel like everybody just wants their privacy, and everybody just wants to be alone at given time, and that has a lot to do with what's in our pockets right now.
Do you trust your neighbors? Not the ones you know,
Not the ones I know.
but just generally speaking, do you trust your neighbors?
I can't believe I can say yes, to be honest with you.
So other than the few people that you talk to, are you more willing to just go up with someone and have a conversation
I'm
in your
willing to do that.
neighborhood?
I'm willing to go up to somebody. Whenever you always see me over there, just talking to anybody. I'm just like that. I just want to know who you are. I just want to be able. Or sometimes when I'm just very quiet, I'll be like, "Hey, let me just go talk to someone randomly," and I just go up to them and just try chewing their ear out.
So what if they come up to you? Is that strange?
Oh no, it's not strange at all.
So
I
you
like
engage in a conversation without thinking that they're crazy.
most definitely.
That's why I call you a people person. Now you see why. So just a little on the political side. I don't want to get too deep into politics, but we are in the middle of an impeachment inquiry where 49% of Americans at one poll that I looked at support the impeachment of President Trump. Now, I'm not asking you to be political with it, but as a college student, what are your thoughts about this impeachment inquiry?
I feel like everybody's practicing their right to do something about our society, and I'm all for it. It's not that I don't approve of Trump. I'm just all for that we all have a decision and we're trying to make a decision to impact the changes of to impact our government. Really, um, it's very mind opening. It's very informative, and I'm learning a lot of new stuff. Because let me tell you, I don't know if y'all know this, but I'm 19 years old and I'm here talking to one of the best professors in Lone Star about politics, which everybody should be
Well,
informed
thank you.
about politics. But it's a good experience for me to understand what how life is and how the government works and how each are checks and balances and how all this information is just it's very fruitful.
Okay. So I'll leave politics alone, somewhat, somewhat. But at the beginning of the interview, you told me that you were involved in the Eco Club. And Eco Club, by the way, just won the contest for decorating. It was a great display down in the South Hall.
I didn't help in that because I would we wouldn't have won if I helped. I'll tell you right now.
Well, I went and looked at it, and it was great. A great display of what we're doing to our planet. But a year ago, there was a report issued by the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change that stated we have approximately 12 years to make changes or face catastrophic damage due to climate change. Since this report has been issued, there have been a lot of feelings on both sides of the coin. But first of all, why is there such disagreement on the topic of climate change in the first place?
Really, I want to know the same. I want to know the answer to that question as well because we can all see it in today's society how the planet's changing to not to our benefit, really to our flaws. Like just last year, this year alone is actually the hottest year ever recorded in history. And then last year was the hottest year that was ever recorded in history, and the year before that. And it's just a point where you just tell yourself, I'm like, I don't like this. We got to do something. We got to change something.
What can we do?
What we do in the Eco Club, we use a lot of we come up with more ideas on how to use our equipment at the house for just supply all these supplies that we have in the house that are just beneficial towards us. Like the other day, we made our own detergent with these little canisters of we just filled them with a bunch of detergent items. I can tell you baking soda. We added some flour in there to get it some flavor. Just using household appliances just to keep up instead of just buying something new at the new store. Like what I do when I go out grocery shopping every Saturday, I do it at night because I don't want anybody to bother me because that's something that's very important to me. When I'm grocery shopping, I gotta know what I get because I don't want to be distracted and then forget something. I don't like this. I don't like going back to the grocery store. But what I do is I take my own bags. I use these. They're not paper bags. They're more like I don't know what material they are. It's like the same material for backpacks, and I just put them in there, and I actually get a discount for doing it as well.
What
And
store
so
is this?
Kroger
Oh,
lets you do a
Kroger's.
discount for them. Kroger, HEB, Aldi's, Jovi's, all these places, and so that's what I do. And there's a lot more innovations into life to make us have a more green and more productive environment.
Wow. Okay. That is a perfect lead into the next question I have for you. All of these problems that we have in society, and not necessarily problems, but these disagreements that we have over gun control and race relations and climate change and what to do about politics. How do we overcome all of these things? I know that's a very uh, big question posed, but you're the future. So, what do we
Overcoming
do?
it, just taking action. We can talk about it for as long as we want, but until we as a whole take action to what we are doing, then nothing's gonna change. We gotta say enough's enough. We gotta say this is it and this is what we're gonna do. We gotta be able to talk about it. We gotta be able to agree, disagree, make choices, make make just make habits of making this place a better world and understanding it. And then education is the most vital thing, I believe, when it comes to changing our world, or when it comes to benefiting our world in this sense. Education.
So, in the next 50 years, what is your hope for society? You'll be almost 70 years
Whew.
old. Can you imagine that? So, by the time you're 70, what do you hope the world will be like?
A lot greener, I can tell you that.
You think we will be at the rate we're going?
At the rate we're going, the more changes we have, I believe we will be. I have hope for our country, as everyone should have, and for me, I actually take action as well. I'm willing to go out into the community. I'm willing to speak what I believe, and I'm willing to do that. And I believe one day, one day when we're all done with this disputes, that we'll be willing to just get up and do what we got to do.
That's good that you take action, but do your friends and all that they take action too, or is it
I
just you?
try forcing them to take action. I know some days this one of my friends, I'm not gonna name who, we were driving to I believe a game that I had, and he just finished his burger, or I forgot, something sandwich, and then he threw the trash out the window. And so what I did, it was on the highway. So what I did, I just pulled off to the side and stopped, and I said, "Go get your trash." He's like, "It's probably just gone." I'm like, "I don't care. You pick up whatever trash you can find and you bring it back here." And then we stopped by the nearest. It was actually on 45. Yeah, we stopped by the nearest. It was right where West Road was about to hit. So we stopped by Best Buy over there, and we just threw it away over there.
So you stopped on I-45.
Damn right. I pulled off to the side. I'm not gonna say I just stopped, because then I
This
wouldn't be
wasn't in
here at the
broad
time.
daylight, was it? Like it, or was it at night
It
where it
was
was a little more relaxed
a
on the?
little more relaxed.
Okay, well that's dangerous, Tomas. You know,
I know it is.
I'm just okay. So other than making your friends get out and pick up trash, how do you want to change the world? How does Tomas want to change the world?
That's a good question. How Tomas wants to change the world. Uh, for me being who I am, I'm all for the environment. I mean, I try helping as much as possible when it comes to environment studies, or when it comes to just living a better life. I think that's the first route we should take, being able to figure out what we want to do on this planet and how we want to fix it. Because believe it or not, we're living here, and like you said, the study shows, and I feel like that's the most important thing that we can do at this part.
It's to change the environment.
Yes, sir.
That's good. That's a good way to. Now, career wise, we haven't talked about career wise. I know what you want to do as a goal, but what is your career going to consist of?
My career, I still haven't decided what my career was going to consist of. What my career was going to be, sorry, but what it should consist of is, like you said, people being able to help, because I feel like that's the only thing I'm really passionate about doing, just helping people.
So, where does that passion come from?
Probably my brothers. Like, I don't know if you know this, but I got six other siblings in one roof with two parents who love us to death. And and so as a child, my father really wasn't really, he was there, but it was just more work, and just trying to benefit the family, trying to help us out. So I was really taken care of by my mom and my older brothers. And me being me, I was a troublemaker in the house. And so, and if you have no father to check you, and got your mom's going to school and trying to take care of six other kids, and the only person I could look up to was my brothers. So I've gotten everything off my brothers, and just I just thank God that I had Sammy and Donald. That's their names. Thank God that I've had their help throughout my life, and I've learned from them. I studied them. I just understand like who they are as a whole, and who they are and everything. But I thank God that they're my siblings.
Okay. So now it's open mic, and we can talk about whatever topic you want to talk about. So, what's on your mind? What do you want the world to know?
About Tomas, or about what's in Tomas's head?
What's in Tomas's head?
I can tell you, I can go off for hours about telling you about situations, but the main situation I believe in is how in society as a whole can live so differentiated. Like I put this a lot in my mind. I look at animals in perspective. Really, excuse me. I live in animals in perspective. So you have a lion, all right, and you have its pride, all the lines in it. You understand each of them need to work together and to live off each other, and they all work together, and they all know that each and every one has a role in society. What I say, why can't humans each have a role in society, and why can we not understand that we all got to help each other in hitting that goal?
So we become individualistic, are you saying?
Very individualistic. Very. It blows my mind how caught up in different worlds that we are in, but we don't understand what the person right next to us is doing, or the person, or just like we said, just everybody's just really to themselves, and it blows my mind nowadays.
But is that a choice, or is it social norms dictating that?
Both choice and social norms dictating that. Uh, like today's society, we all what we do and what we believe in all comes through a phone, I believe. And then that's just in general, a phone is now life now. Like back in the day, not even 10 years ago, what type of phone did you have? Do you remember?
Yes, I do.
What type of phone?
It was not a smartphone.
I can
It
tell
was
you
a
that.
phone
It was a phone.
that you dialed and you hung up when you got through talking.
But now in today's society, we have so much more. It's not a phone no more. It's so much more. It's websites, it's games, it's people's information, it's messages, it's these emojis that I still don't understand. And I grew up in this world. This is my world. I'm a Gen Z. I grew up in this world. And I feel like everybody's so focused on what's in a square, but no one's focused on what's in our circle.
I think that bears out in in society big time. There was a video of these people walking with the phone in the mall, and they were so in tune to what was going on in the phone, they fell into the fountain, and they took a big splash in it, and then they were upset at everybody else because they weren't paying attention. And then I had someone else on Steve Engagement Media. They did a whole podcast about this very topic, that we become less communicative as a society, and that we're all connected, but nobody's talking.
Isn't it crazy how we've made this device that's literally capable of making us communicate with someone across the world, but yet again we are so individually separated.
So it's a contradiction.
It's just we got this little thing that helps us communicate, but we still don't communicate for real. In social media in general, people post these outrageous stuff, these like claims that they're doing so good, but really they're not. I had this one female that I'm still helping right now that she posts that, oh, her life's good, she's got a job, she's getting paid 50K easily, she's 22 and going out to, I just visited her the next day, she doesn't have a job, hasn't paid her rent yet, and I'm just like, but on social media you're a superstar, you're a superstar. And she's like, no, this is really my life. And I'm like, it's crazy because people just hide behind something.
It's a facade.
Yes.
And that, I think there has been research into that, where you will see someone's social media post and you think they are just living their best life,
Exactly. And then
you're too far behind.
and then the other people, whoever watches it, they believe that they need to be living their life, or they need to be showing people that they're living their life, and then they do the same thing. And it's just keeps connecting and connecting. I'm just like, what the hell are y'all doing?
I think about celebrities when I think of that, because they're always doing outrageous things on social media to get attention, and people subscribe to that and think, well, I should be doing that too.
Isn't it crazy that what grabs people's attentions are just outrageous stuff? It's just outrageous stuff. Like in YouTube, I literally, if I'm gonna look at YouTube, don't blame me. I know I'm one of those people that are on that. And I look at YouTube and they just say something outrageous, like kid jumps in a lake 100 feet tall, 100 feet wide, and I'm just like, what? Wait, what? That's and it already has 4.5 million views. I'm like, really? That's interesting to us. And
But that's what people want.
people want something like that. I mean,
It's entertainment. Well, on another note, you're getting ready to go to Disney World.
yes.
What's this all about?
So here at Lone Star, we have this amazing organization called Student Life, run by Shannon Marino, and she's a phenomenal lady. She's one of the best people I've ever met, and she selected me. It was me and 10 other kids in the whole Lone Star system to go to Disney, and Disney World, actually, that's what it
Hmm.
is, Disney World in Florida, and we're gonna obviously go on rides, uh, do some activities, just it was just very it's very blessing that she's invited me to this because I've never thought of going to Disney. I was one of those kids where I'd ask my mom if I could go to Disney, and instead, like, she'd take me to, like, she wouldn't take me anywhere. She would just fill up this little floaty you lay down on the ground in the backyard, and then she'd put water, and she'd make sure it goes hits the sun so you can see a rainbow, and like, look, Disney, and then I'd still love it. But
Improvise. That's
exactly.
improvise.
Exactly, and now I'm so blessed that I'm going to Disney. It still hasn't hit me though. It really still hasn't hit me.
So other than ride and rise, there's a greater purpose to this. Like you're going to, it's just a leadership
It's a leadership.
thing, isn't
Yes,
it? Okay.
yes, yes,
So
yes.
what do you look forward to learning in that?
Just how the whole system works and how just the whole background story. Because I know nothing about Disney.
It's a very interesting story about
And Walt Disney
about
and
Mr. Walt Disney and his brother. So you have to come back and tell us about how all that went.
I will. I'll make sure we do another podcast about it.
We shall. So, Mr. Williams, if there's nothing else on your mind, I know you have a lot.
I do have a lot, but I feel like we've covered most of it, most of all the time that we need.
We'll have to have a part two to this deal.
Most definitely.
All right, sounds good. Well, Mr. Williams, thank you for stopping by. This podcast was several months in the making. I'm glad that we finally got to do it. So, to all of you out there, thank you for listening. And until next time, I'm Patrick Gilbert from the IMAC Studios, and thank you for joining us here on Civic Engagement Media.